Oh, okay.
Oh, hello, and welcome to Iota Phi Lambda Sorority Incorporated, the Zeta Mu Chapter, College 101. Shout out to everyone who's excited for tonight. I am Erica Belton, the chapter president, and I'm here to kick off this wonderful event. There's a little bit of a lag on my part, but I'm about to turn it over to the ladies who have perfect synchrony in here. But I'm happy to have you all here tonight. If you have children that are on their way to college, meaning high school, middle school. Yes, middle school. This is the event for you. I am now going to turn it over to my second vice to kick off this wonderful event. Enjoy. Take care.
Thank you so much, Madam President. I appreciate you this evening. Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to our College 101 presented by the Zeta Mu Chapter of Iota Phi Lambda Sorority Incorporated. We are so excited for everyone to be joining us tonight for this insightful discussion where we'll be talking about navigating college life and everything that goes along with that. Again, like Madam President said, if you're a student, if you're a parent, middle or high school student, this is for you, and we hope that you get something out of it. Tonight, we have two phenomenal speakers who are both recent graduates, and they will be discussing with us a plethora of topics. So please get ready to interact with them, and we appreciate them for coming out tonight. We also have two of our future IOTA leaders here on screen with us, our our president and our vice president, who will also be introducing themselves. But we thank them for coming out, and we thank you all for coming out this evening. And again, welcome, and I will turn it over to first have our Phil introduce themselves to you all.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stevie Ray Wilson, a graduating high school senior from PG County. I serve as the president of the Future IOTA Leaders Club of the Zeta Mu Chapter. And this fall, I will be attending Tuskegee University. Go Tigers!
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Parrish, and I'm a junior high school student from Owings Mills, Maryland. I serve as the vice president of the Future IOTA Leaders Club of the Zeta Mu Chapter. In fall of 2026, NYU and study cybersecurity.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Now we'll turn it over to Sorors, Kayla, and Moriah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to College 101. As Sora Morgan stated, today we'll just be talking about everything college. We have some wonderful Phil members here with us today, and they have prepared some questions. I am a fall 24 initiate into the Zeta Mu chapter of Iota Phi Lambda Sorority Incorporated, and I recently graduated from North Carolina A&T with a degree in bioengineering. I'll let Moriah introduce herself before we get started.
Hi, everybody. My name is Moriah Terry, and I'm also a fall 2024 initiate. Graduated from North Carolina A&T with a business degree in international business. So we're excited to get things going now. So we can just start it off. This is really just girls talk. We're gonna talk all things college and in between.
Take it away, Stevie.
Okay. My first question is, how did you choose where you wanted to go? Like, how did you know that A&T was a school for you? Did you visit before? Like, how did you decide on A&T?
Well, I'll start. I'm actually not from North Carolina. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and there are no historically black colleges in the Midwest. There is one in Ohio, but I wanted to go to a school that was a little bit more well known. So I had gone on an HBCU college tour. So I had seen Spelman, I had seen FAM, I had seen A&T, I had seen Central, I had seen a plethora of HBCUs on this college tour, and when I had gone to A&T, I was the one in the front of the tour line asking the tour guide all types of questions about classes and everything. But when I had gone to on A&T's campus, the one thing that had stuck with me was that there was nothing negative that the tour guide could say about A&T. Like, yes, every school has its positives and negatives, but when I was asking questions like, "Oh, what do you think about the community here? Do you feel prepared for life post college?" Those were the questions I was asking when I was in high school, and the tour guide said, "Yeah, they loved it. They loved their experience. They would do it over again." So I think that's really what drew me. I also studied engineering, and I was interested in STEM at the time, so I had wanted to go to a school that was known for producing black engineers. A&T is known for, but just has a quality STEM program. So those are some of the things that attracted me to A&T.
Yeah, my story is a little different just because I'm from North Carolina. One of the things that I will say that I looked into while looking at schools was graduating debt free was like a really big goal of mine to not come out of school and not owe any money undergrad. So A&T or in North Carolina, period, the HBCUs there, they're affordable. Like they're very affordable schools. I looked into that very deeply because I did apply to Hampton, FAM, and I was really interested in those schools. But the tuition to go out of state was extremely expensive. So I narrowed it down to the schools in state. And for me, North Carolina has a lot of HBCUs, and they all have quality. So they all have different things to offer. And then I was also looking for a school like Kayla. Their name was kind of going up. When I first went to A&T, it wasn't as high profile as it is now, but you could tell that it was on the up and rising. So those were kind of the different factors that played a role in why I chose A&T.
Okay. I know you guys both talked about how, like, you mentioned your major. How did you choose your major? Did you know when you were going in college, this is what I want to do? Or did you, like, change it in between? Like, was there any, like, changes when you went to the college within your major?
We both actually had some major
Yeah.
changes. I started out studying biology. I had swore up and down I wanted to be a doctor. While I was in high school and even in middle school, there's a program in Detroit. It's called Detroit Area Preparatory Engineering Program. But I was able to do like some summer things at the University of Michigan and Wayne State University over the course of the summer on weekends during my secondary education and stuff like that. So that kind of exposed me to STEM. So I had known STEM, and I had just picked biology because people who had wanted to become physicians, they had studied biology before medical school. But while I was at A&T, I had, rubbed elbows with some doctors, and I was like, "That's what you all do, okay? Maybe I want to do something different." And thankfully, A&T is known for engineering, for producing the most Black engineers, and they have a large companies look at A&T when they're looking for diverse talent. So and I still, wanted to graduate in a reasonable amount of time. So I had changed my major to biomedical engineering. And the coursework was definitely more rigorous, but I think that there are a lot of resources at A&T and at colleges in general. You just have to be on the hunt for them. So whether it's tutoring, whether it's internship opportunities, whether it's just a community of people who are looking to graduate, who are looking to improve themselves. That's at any college campus. You just have to make sure that you're in those right circles. But I don't changing your major, it's something that happens. I think a lot of more people do it than you think.
I agree. I initially came in actually with the STEM background. I went to high school where we were very well known for being introduced to the STEM field early. And I realized early I didn't want to be an engineer, and I still went to A&T. So I came in thinking I wanted to be an accountant. I also learned early after taking one accounting class that's not what I wanted to do anymore. Um, so I ended up changing my major, I want to say my sophomore year. And I'll be honest, people you will debate about changing your major a lot and stem from it like, okay, no, I'm on this course. I've only got these amount of classes to go. You really, if you do the right thing, and I'm not going to say don't take summer classes. I would definitely take summer classes if it's available for you and it doesn't cost a lot. Summer classes will help you get that buffer as a senior where you get that senioritis and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. That last semester, you could sometimes graduate with only having 2 classes to finish with, and the opportunity to still change your major if you take those summer classes.
Yeah.
So don't stem away from that, even though you feel like you might be a little busy in the summer trying to work. But if you have free time, I would say take 1 or 2 summer classes. That's a one tip I would add in there. But don't be afraid of going for what you're passionate about or what you want in terms of changing your major, because it's a very like scary topic when you're in a conversation and you feel like everybody else knows what they want to do automatically. And you're just like, I have no idea what I want to do. I actually don't like my major. I kind of hate my classes. So don't feel like, you know, you can't have that conversation with your friends or your family about, hey, I'm actually interested in this, that, and the third. What do you think about changing my major? You should definitely have that conversation and just see what their thoughts are on it. And then also put in the factor of what you want for yourself. Yeah.
I know you mentioned like summer classes. So does the summer classes work towards like your major, or are they for credits that you need in college? Like what was it for?
So Kayla, did you take summer classes too? I feel like
I did not. No.
Okay. So I actually, so you have to really know about summer classes. People really sleep on summer classes. They're the best thing in the world. They're cheaper, they're more affordable. That's when people aren't thinking about school, but the classes are easier. They're much easier. They're maybe at a like a faster pace, but they're much easier because it's the only class you have to focus on. It's not like you have other classes going on, and then they're cheaper again. And then you asked, what was that last question you asked about the summer classes?
Oh, I was saying like, do they work towards your major, like for credits and things like that?
So what really helped me is getting ahead of all the classes that you have to take. So say you're in the engineering department or the school of engineering or the school of business. You have a certain amount of classes you have to take, which are like general ed. So that's what I would use for those summer classes. Like, okay, this is general ed. I'm going to have to take this even if I switch my major. It doesn't matter. Regardless, I'll have to take this. So those are just some tips I would bring in for you. Like, think about summer classes, especially when you're a freshman going in, because that's when you're the most, what is the word for, you're the most prepared and willing to do the work. Because the most focused, that's the right word. Because when you get to your senior year, I don't want to say you're tired, but you're just ready for a change. You want something new, something different. The classes are kind of like fading away one by one. You're coming down to 4, 3. So you want to be able to do it while you're still willing to do focus and have that oomph that you need, the motivation. That's it.
Okay.
So speaking of change, what's a major lifestyle adjustment after college that caught you off guard? So like
major change,
the freedom, like some of us may have, I drove in high school, some people may not drive in high school, so they may rely on their parents a lot for transportation, for everything, because you're still a kid. But when you get to college, like going to class is your responsibility, making sure you eat is your responsibility, doing your homework is your responsibility. So I think you get a lot of independence all at once, but it's important that you are responsible with this newfound independence. So yes, you can stay up till midnight, but you do have a 9 a.m. class that you need to get to. So it's just give and take. I think that was probably the largest adjustment. But like I said earlier, like if you surround yourself with people who are interested in finishing in 4 years, who are motivated, who are focused, like Moriah said, then they'll be the people to encourage you when you like, man, I don't really want to go to class today. They like, no, go to class. You know, you got a test coming up. You need to make sure that you're getting the material firsthand, that you don't have to rely on other people's notes or anything like that. Um, so that's probably the largest change is the independence.
Was the question after is post college?
Post college, but also high school coming into college.
Okay. For me, I had a lot of freedom in high school, so I don't want to say the freedom. I think my major adjustment, I did play a sport in college. Kayla did too. She didn't mention that yet, but she did too. And I think my biggest adjustment I had to make was making time for a full-time job in college, because sports in college are literally a full-time job, and going to school. And when I first started, I didn't realize how much it affected me. Like going to weights at 6, going to class at 8. I was tired. I couldn't focus in there. But it's like if you put it in terms of like, okay, if I'm a regular college student, what was I doing before that? I was going to the party, and then I was staying out really late and not wanting to get up. And like Kayla said, surrounding yourself with those friends, for me, those teammates and friends, and then going to class. So I guess, yeah, making that adjustment in terms of like time management, being able to, like you said, that freedom that you get in college, you're free to do whatever you like. There's nobody really watching you or telling you to go to class unless you have that group of people that's like, hey girl, what did you learn in this class? Or the group of people in your college in particular that are driven, the ones who sit in the front, the ones who sit in the middle, the ones who are always going to be in class, making those friendships and connections, like, hey, I might not make it to class today, because things do happen. Sometimes you won't always be able to make it, but having those friends that are there when you're not there and having each other's back, that really helps out throughout college, I would say.
Moriah and I see a question. We played softball for the Lady Aggies varsity softball team. Yes, yes. I kind of want to ask you ladies some questions. Elizabeth Paris, I know you mentioned being interested in cybersecurity. What do you think? What drew you to? Have you already said that you were interested in a specific school?
Yes, so I'd like to go to NYU personally, although I do have a couple in-state schools as well that I'm looking. Do you have a second question?
Just what majors were you all interested in, and what drew you all to that kind of?
Yeah. So I'm still bouncing between to the whole and cybersecurity in specific, because I know the field is kind of popular now. But honestly, I like tech. I like to code, and the best at interacting with people. So I figured maybe a job where I don't have to do too much day-to-day interaction, but I can still do something that.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah. Stevie, I know you mentioned, was it nursing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, in the fall I want to go into nursing. Ever since I was a kid, I've always just wanted to like help people. I've always been interested in like medical things and everything in that nature. I want to work in the hospital specifically. Probably an ICU nurse is what I'm like looking at right now, but nursing has always been my top choice. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good that you ladies already have a kind of an idea of what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Harris, you said that people socialization is not really your strong suit, but you've always been interested in tech. And it seems like you've done enough research as to what cybersecurity entails to know that it is a growing field. Same with you, Stevie, even that you want to be an IC nurse potentially, like at 18, you to have to make a decision about what you're going to do for the rest of your life. I think that it's unfair, truly. But I was going to encourage you all to continue to do research about what potential careers you'd be interested in, and even to the degree that you know yourself now, what you think you may or may not like. Um, I know we're gonna get to it eventually, but internships is such a huge
Oh
thing.
my gosh.
It
Yes.
it's the I don't want to say it's the make or break, but it gives you that experience. Because I've had
Yeah.
internships that I didn't like. I was like, you know what? This isn't it. I thought this was what I wanted, but I was wrong. And that helps me to change my major. That helps me to network with people who are professionals who do things that I think that I want to do. And then when you speak to them, you're like, oh, this is what you do every day, not necessarily what I was thinking. So I just want to emphasize the importance of doing research in high school and middle school, even those programs that Moriah and I had talked about that we had engaged in when we were younger, that had given us exposure to potential fields in STEM, and just it's important to have experiences like that when you're young, so that when you do get to college, you kind of already know which route is preferred.
Yeah, my school they do like right now we're in like a junior and senior you can do like a pharmacy program. So that's also what
Ooh.
kind of like aimed me to do nursing. Because in the program your senior year you get to go work in like a local pharmacy. So like right now I'm at Walgreens in Bowie, and like you can practice, you know, like working on different medications, packaging pills and things like that. So yeah, I agree with like internships and things like that because it really helped me to know this is what I want to do.
No, that's phenomenal that
Yeah,
you
that's
started so
good.
young. That's definitely going to set you apart when you're, I mean, you already know where you're going, but when you continue to apply for scholarships, when
Yeah.
you're talking about potential internships, because you already have experience, that makes you a brighter candidate for
Hmm.
potential people who are looking to hire you.
Even like when you go into school and it's your first year, they'll some people tell you and some people will tell you the opposite, but look for that internship as a freshman, especially since you already have something to put on your resume. Look for that internship because they'll give it to freshmen and not think twice when they know that you already have some experience. That's what I did. I started internships when I was a freshman, and from there you just keep going there. Like, how'd you get an internship out of high school and then as a freshman? And they're like, okay, well, I mean, you've already got the experience you need to start working really on a junior internship. Like, getting a junior internship as a freshman is a big deal. So definitely
Hmm.
put that on your resume and look for internships when you get there as a freshman.
Definitely.
Speaking of like freshman year and things like that, I know that I told you guys that I was about to go into college, and I know Elizabeth is next year. But like, what is some advice you would give us about classes, outside life, things like that, and like being in a new environment and place, things like that?
Um, to be really completely honest, it's all about your friendships. Like when it comes to things like that, staying focused, things happen. Like you break down, you have a bad day, you might have a bad week. And you need you need people around you that you feel comfortable with talking to about certain things, or just being there to comfort you, or coming into your dorm room and just being like, let's go, like you can't stay in here forever, like we're going out today. Like get you out of that ball you might be in. You're feeling sad about maybe a test you didn't do that well on, you had a bad day, somebody said something to you you didn't like, you want to go home, like you don't want to, you miss home, you're sad. Like those friendships really, really do keep you going. Um, I don't want to speak lightly about that because I feel like that's something that really helped me. I don't want to say get through school, but like pushed me to keep going when things weren't always going my way. So definitely find a good group of friends, and don't be afraid to break up friendships that you don't think are good for you, because you'll realize after a while when you're in one group, sometimes it doesn't stay like that. Sometimes it ends up being two people out of the group, and you and that other person are now you're the only two that you hang out with consistently. But find your group of people that you think care about you, and eventually hopefully they will show that they do care about you. So yeah, my advice is to find your niche group of people that will make you a better person and you also make them a better person.
No, that's a good one. That's a really good one. What was I going to say? Resources. So freshman year is when, and depending on the school, but I think a lot of schools kind of have like a freshman seminar or just like a get to know the university type of class that freshmen are required to take. I know we did at A&T, but it tells you about everything that there is to know. So there's these, it's called office hours, but your professor will hold specific times when it's a calculus class and it's the hardest math class you've ever had. You don't really understand what's going on. You go see the professor in specific allotted amount of time and you ask questions about the homework. You ask questions about um, upcoming exams. You ask them anything you want. Taking advantage of that as early as possible. Don't wallow in silence and struggle. Don't do it. I mean, there's so many resources there for you. Most classes have a teaching assistant, which is like an upperclassman college student who has taken the class, did well in the class, and now they're helping underclassmen to perform well. Um, Office hours is one thing, but there's also other resources on campus. I know at A&T we had like a professional clothing closet. So when the career fair came around, I'm from Michigan. My pockets was slim freshman year. I wanted to go to the career fair. I didn't really have the money to buy a brand new suit, a suit in general. So I went to the clothing closet and I got something out of there. They had flats. You were able to get like a blouse and a two-piece suit set. So things like that um, are available on your college campus, but people don't know about them unless you ask. So your TA, who is an upperclassman, they should know about campus life. They should know, which restaurant on campus good to eat at. They should just have a wealth of knowledge for you. So I'd encourage you guys to make friends with people who are a little bit older than you, just so that they can kind of help you to navigate this new environment. um, yeah, there's also like a writing center on campus. So if you're not a strong writer and you got this English paper due, you can go to the writing center. They'll read it, they'll mark it up, and have some suggestions for edits you can make. So there's just a lot of resources that are available on campus, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't take advantage of them because they just don't know.
Yeah. Another thing I would say is follow your school on social media. Like that's where follow your programs, follow all of that, because you never know what's going on unless you have some kind of access to it. And that's the new access. Like you have to be able to be in the know. And then another thing I didn't do that Kayla did a lot of was go to the school events. I never went to the school events, and I should have. Kayla was always there and got me something extra, so I felt like I didn't have to go. But I wish I would have went to more of the school like pep rallies, more of the school events that we had. I wish I was there. Like when they're giving giveaways at the health center, all those different things they had, I never went to until my senior year. And my advice is that's where you meet people. That's where you learn different things about your school. The resources that she's talking about, that's where you learn about the different resources that they offer that are free for the most part. You just don't know about it, or that you're paying for in your tuition that you don't know about.
Yeah. I think getting involved in school is also important. Like, I know that a lot of colleges they're called student organizations, but Stevie, you mentioned that you're in the Math Honor Society at your school. They have that. They have, math club, they have science club, they have horticulture if you like plants, whatever you can think of. And I know at our school, like if there wasn't something that existed that you were interested in, you could start it. So I think that that'll help to build that community that Moriah was talking about friendships of people who are interested in different or similar. They have similar interests, but everyone is motivated to finish school, to pursue their interests, to work hard. I think that finding whatever organization you're interested in at school will help you to find those communities of people who will help you through the course of your time in school.
Okay.
So I believe one of you touched on this a bit earlier, but I was going to ask, how do you relationships with your professors? Because I know they, on their own, can be a great resource.
I was definitely a question asker in class. Moriah mentioned sitting in the front row. Mama told me I needed to be in the front row, and I took that to heart. So I was sat in the front row of every class, and I think even in the classes I didn't really like, that calculus class I was telling y'all about, um, I was in the front row, so the professor recognized my face because I'm so close to the board or whatever. But then when I come to office hours, he kind of knows, like, oh, yeah, I mean, you're 8:30, and yeah, that's me. So I think that even the first week, introduce yourself to the professor, like, hey, this is my major. I'm just really excited about your class. You can even do that via email. That way, um, when they come across your work, they kind of get familiar with your work ethic. They kind of know if you have challenges with the material. So I definitely encourage you guys to introduce yourself to your professors. And Moriah mentioned like things being included in your tuition. Those office hours that they hold on a weekly basis, that's included in your tuition. So if you don't take advantage of that, you're leaving that on the table, and they're there for you to succeed. So just using them to the best of your ability.
I would say I was more on the like, I wasn't the first one always asking the question. I would wait till I completely didn't understand anything. And it would be like, I would just be sitting on middle class. I know I don't understand. I'm closing my textbook. I got to go to his office hours. I'm locked out because I don't understand what he's talking about anymore. And then I'm not the type. I wasn't the type to ask the question right away as soon as I didn't understand. And I only sat in the front because I couldn't hear, so I had to sit in the front. So I applauded people like Kayla more because they would ask the questions that I knew I wasn't going to ask until we got that office hours and be even more confused. But I did take advantage of those office hours, like she mentioned. When I knew I didn't understand, I would try to figure it out first, and then I was like, okay, I don't understand this. So the professor only knew who I was because of office hours. Because we had that 101, he was busy and I was sitting in the corner. He had a little corner desk. I would try to do the work and he'd be like, this is wrong. I would try it again. This is wrong. And then I'd be like, well, when are you gonna stop looking at the computer and say something to me about why it is wrong? And that's when we finally like made that connection. He was like, okay, well, you did this and this doesn't make sense here. So I know everybody's different on how, you navigate things. Like you did mention that, you don't really like interactions with people as much. Like I kind of feel that I didn't want to really raise my hand. I'd rather just wait. But after a while, you'll get sick of that because you won't understand. But there's a smaller setting that you can do that kind of thing in. And office hours is the best way to get it done, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think even another thing, like outside of the classroom, when a professor knows that you're engaged, they're more likely to tell you about something. Like, hey, I know that you had mentioned that you like cybersecurity. There's an internship with so and so that my friend from college, and I want to put your name in, or like you should apply. By putting yourself out there, and just showing that you were engaged in general, it'll bring about like opportunities that you may not have known of had you stayed quiet in class or just kind of not use your professor as a resource.
After you mentioned that, Kayla, I forgot about study groups. Like usually your classes are filled with people that all have the same email and somebody will send an email to everybody like, hey, join this group me. And it's everybody in the class and they're like, hey, we're meeting at the library at 2 to go over whatever for the test tomorrow. And I think that's a great way. Sometimes I did it, sometimes I didn't. It just depended. But it's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to learn how other people learn. It might teach you something you didn't think you needed, but now you know because you learned it from somebody else. So take advantage of those study groups or being in those group chats of those classes that you have.
Okay.
I had another question. Like, how did college specifically prepare you for like your current career like path right now? Like, how did college prepare you for it, or how do you think it prepares you?
Kelly, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Okay.
How does college prepare you for what you're doing now? So, I work in the biotechnology sector, which is what my degree is in. So, I think learning the technical skills that I had learned in college is useful in my role now. But the soft skills are just as important, like the being able to communicate well and effectively, and you know, um, engaging with someone whose personality is different from yours, but you have to work together to get something done. You learn those types of things in college when it comes to group work, when it comes to those study groups. So some of those soft skills have also helped in college. The importance of someone else knowing who you are, whether it be your professor, whether it be your classmates who maybe they had an internship at a different company the previous summer and they tell you about it and now you apply and they refer you and now you get in. So just using everyone to your advantage, I think that those skills that I didn't necessarily learn in a classroom, but that I learned by being in a college setting with like-minded people are helpful in my role now. And even as an adult, that time management thing Moriah was talking about, you got practice, you got a game, so you got to figure out when you're gonna do your homework. Um, and even you talked about wanting to be socially involved. That's another aspect of college. There is a story that is always brought up whenever Mariah and I get around our college friends, but we were headed to a party and I had my laptop in the car because I had to get my work done before I could have fun. So just knowing that you have responsibilities that you have to fulfill. And you gotta, when you gonna get it in? You have all these things to do, but when are you gonna fulfill your responsibilities so that you can still have fun? Those are some of the just to name a few. I know Mariah got a plethora.
Um, I don't know. I feel like the whole college experience is something that prepares you for life. It's just so many things you go through about, I mean, in terms of learning who you are as a person. You just go through so many phases. Like from that freshman to senior year, you'll look back at like the pictures, who you hung out with, maybe the differences in yourself. Like you'll grow so much and you'll realize, okay, this is the person I want to be. Like usually at the end, you're like, whew, I made it. Like, so I don't know. I feel like all the things Kayla said, I agree with, obviously. And being able to build that, I want to call it like work-life balance, is what college teaches you. You have so much freedom to do whatever you want. You have to build a schedule, like, because you'll do nothing. You'll do absolutely nothing because there's so much free time. You'll have maybe one class on a Monday, two classes on Tuesday, a class on Friday, and nothing else. So you have to be able to build that schedule if you like to work out, if you like to, sit at coffee shops, whatever your thing is to get you out the house, get you going, build a schedule throughout your day so that when you get to the real world in quotes, when you get out in the real world, you have that built-in foundation of what you want your life to look like, or you have that idea, okay, if I'm doing this from 9 to 5, if you want to work a 9 to 5 or whatever hours you're thinking about, what that structured day looks like. You haven't been taking a nap from 2 to 5, because it'll catch up to you when you get in the real world. You'll be like, it's 9 o'clock, it's 2, I'm still here. Like you'll look around like, this is what I'm doing now, and be mad because like that's not what you're typically used to. But if you build that foundation, in terms of that schedule embedded in your brain, you'll start to realize what it did for you, post grad is what they call it, when you graduate post grad. So I can even see it in my routine now, like getting up, going to the gym, because if I don't go to the gym, I just feel like I'm at work for no reason. Like I didn't even, because I don't get off until like 5:30. So after that, I'm tired. So it's just, building that foundation and that schedule that helps you throughout your day, is something that I learned to do in college that continues to help me today.
So, what's a skill outside of your major that ended up being valuable in your overall career?
You said a skill outside of your major?
Mm-hmm.
I think them communication skills.
Okay, I was gonna say that too.
Being able to adapt when things go wrong, being able to pivot. Though you're working in a group setting, it's 5 of y'all, but only 3 of y'all is really helping. It got to get done as a deadline. So what do you do? I think even the people skills to kind of encourage those two people like, hey, I know you all haven't been that responsive, but this is a 5-person task that really does take 5 people to do. How can I help you to help us? You know what I mean? And I think it's important to be realistic with people and just learn how everyone can work together to achieve whatever the common goal is.
Yeah. Um, I think what I learned is like being able to be the leader and the follower. Sometimes it's not your calling to lead. When you're not the best in the room, you have to sometimes know that. You know what? This is not it's not your calling to lead, and sometimes you need to be able to follow and take instructions. And if you're a leader 25/8 throughout your life or whatever you do, sometimes that can be hard to sit in the back and be like this is what my team needs right now. So I would say, yeah, being able to lead, but also learning that it's okay to be a follower in some settings. When there's a task given to you and that's the only task you need to produce and everybody else knows what they're doing, do that task. It's okay to just want to do that. But also, in some cases, you might have to be the leader. So learning how to pivot between the different steps of, okay, if I'm in the middle, I kind of have to lead and follow. So I have to give her and her a task. But I know the leader is going to be okay because she can do this, this, and the third. But being able to lead and also be a follower is I think, a big trait that I picked up in college that helped me throughout my journey, I would say. Just being able to pivot through the three or the five pillars of leading and then following and reading the room. Reading the room. You are if you see somebody come in there and they're already barking orders and stuff, okay. What's my task? Sometimes it's okay. What's my task? You've got it. But if everybody's quiet and you get in the room, you're going to have to stand up and be like, hey, let's get started. I'm good at this. This is my strong suit. I can take this on. What can you do? So, being able to pivot through those two.
Sorry, Stevie. I just wanted to ask you ladies, what are Stevie, you're going to college real soon. Elizabeth Parrish, you got a little bit more time. What are some things that you ladies want to know about school? Obviously as it pertains to academics, but even choosing a school for you, Elizabeth Ferris, just any questions specifically like that relate to, you all's journeys more?
I was just going to ask, so I know we were kind of talking about it earlier, but like, what are like specific ways that you balance like school and like having fun at the same time? Like planners, like how did you like specifically organize your homework, deadlines, things like
that? Google Calendar. I live and die by it. When I was in school, I would first week of classes, as soon as I got my schedule, I put in the classes. If I had like an hour or more between classes, and one of my, like if I just left math and then I had science in a minute, I would go either work on that math homework while it's fresh in my mind, like if the library was en route or I could stop by there, or just find an empty classroom, whip out my laptop, work on some math homework. I think finding pockets of time in your schedule to get stuff done. That way, when it's, Friday night, you don't have your homework is done. That's due on Sunday, so you have the entire weekend to enjoy. Yeah, just find pockets of time. I wasn't really that good with like a paper planner, but Google Calendar, it's on your phone. It tell you 10 minutes before you got this to do. I know that some people they were really savvy and they had written all their assignments down in like an Excel spreadsheet. That was extensive for me. On my computer, there's like a little sticky notes tab. So whenever I had some homework, I wrote the date down and what class it was, like when it was due. And then as the week goes by, I just finish stuff and I cross it off. Yeah, those are my tricks. And I also put the party on there too. So yeah, you put the class on there, but the party.
See, I didn't know that. That's why you was never ready. Anyway, never ready to go. Yeah, I would come in the house and she'd be on that computer. I'd be like, "We gotta leave in 2 minutes." She'd be like, "I'm almost done. I'm almost done." I'd be like, "No," and then we'd be in there for another hour. She's like, "When she finishes, though."
Will you guys
grab her stuff and be ready to go? I'll be like, okay, this is too much for me. But I was never as organized as Kayla. Kayla was very organized. She could tell I was not that organized. I had to have a planner, like a physical copy. Yeah, she knows because I had to write it down. I need to, but I would. One thing I really did do was I had anxiety about missing stuff. Like I would go in and check all of my stuff every day. Like I would just go in the the
Mm-hmm.
canvas and look at it'll tell you what the due dates are on there. Like, okay, I got 2 days to do that. That's due tomorrow.
Canvas is it's the platform that your professors send assignments through. I think
Yeah.
Schoology, I know my little sister's in high school. That's what she uses. I don't know if any of those ring a bell for y'all, but it's just how your professors tell you about assignments that are due.
Yeah. So whatever platform your school does use, I was constantly on there just looking through my class. Like if I was had a break, like Kayla said, I would just like look through it really quick and make sure I wasn't missing anything. But I also needed that paper paper copy of stuff. That what'd you call the planner? I needed that planner. I had to have it. Um yeah, and then I had a bigger calendar where it was the whole month where you could write out certain things. And I would put like if I knew that was homecoming or homecoming week, I would like cross out the whole week. I would just cross it out and everything that was due in that week I knew needed to be done the week before because that was my time. So just little things like that. Like if you know you're going home or Christmas break is coming up, which is when finals happen usually before the break. Am I right about that?
Mm-hmm.
Before the break, Kayla?
Yeah.
Finals usually happen before the break. So preparing yourself like in advance to know that week before break, you should be locked in. Like just lock in a little bit more, knowing that my time's coming. I need to be able to party and lock in. So what's that looking like? It's water, my computer, like have all your necessities you need to make sure you're good and you don't crash out at the end. So once finals are over, that's when you're like free to have fun. So, getting that rest you need, that time you need, that sleep, make sure you get that sleep for before the test, so that you're prepared and not tired. And then reward yourself. It's over. Go have some fun, hang out. Like people forget to have fun when you're so stressed out about finals all the time. So yeah.
So
You
I
guys,
think
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think this applies to me more than Stevie. But when finding colleges and when doing your tours, what was something that maybe you saw or someone said that made that college an immediate yes or no for you?
Mm.
I was an out of state student. I did pay a pretty penny to go to North Carolina A&T, but I think that the benefits outweighed the costs. Nevertheless, scholarships. I was asking about. A lot of schools have like merit scholarships. So, like, if you're a high academic achieving student, if you get a certain score in the ACT, SAT, um, if there's these specific types of students that they award scholarships to. That was my first question. What does it take to get a full ride? Do you have like we had like a chancellor's scholarship program where that was like one of the premier full ride programs. So I was asking about programs like that. Um, I was definitely asking about dorms. I was in the honors program at A&T, so there's like an honors dormitory, um, which was a little bit. I don't want to, shoot down anybody, but it was a little bit nicer than the other dorms.
It was way nicer, not a little bit. I stayed on the more it needed the projects of A&T's campus. We'll say that. I didn't stay in
The
the
opportunity neighborhood, yeah.
whatever. They were way nicer. So I was over there more. I'll say that. But nonetheless, we still had a good time.
We did.
Yeah.
But other questions to ask on college tours, I think about transportation. A&T's kind of like medium size, so you could walk from like one end of campus to the other. It may take you 20 something minutes, but bigger schools like NYU or other state schools, they have like buses that take you across campus. So asking about the transportation system, because I know at A&T, like classes started at 8 and they usually lasted 50 minutes. So like your next class may be at 9. It may be different at larger schools because you have to travel a larger distance. So I'd ask about stuff like that. I kind of mentioned housing, and even a meal plan. Neither of us were RAs, but that's a great opportunity to get some funding for housing. It looks great on a resume to be a resident assistant. It's like you're the big sister in a dorm room, so you're just making sure everybody's good. Um, so I opportunities like that. I also worked in school, so I worked a at the school library at one point. So you could ask about work opportunities because I told you freshman year my pockets worked in, and then I had to do something about that. So I got a job. There's plenty of on-campus opportunities to work. That could be a good question. You said something that would be like an immediate no. Diversity. That was my thing. I know I was looking at HBCUs, but I did tour some state schools as well. But just curated spaces for Black students. I was looking for those at non HBCU schools. So just to see what the resources look like for students of color. Those are some of the things that I was looking for. Anything else, Moriah?
I think you touched on most of it. Obviously money is a big factor. I just couldn't do it in terms of like I didn't want to put myself in a hole. I knew I would have to dig myself out and be tired when I was done with school. And feel like I didn't get the education I wanted and still be in debt. I wanted to be able to get the education I wanted with no debt. So I think that was like my biggest thing was making sure that I graduated. I could use I used all my resources I could have used on the campus. Um, and I was clear, the green light was there in terms of like financial freedom when I graduate. So I think that was like my biggest thing in terms of looking for schools. We're coming up on time a little bit here. So any last questions you've been thinking about, you want to put out there, anything else you guys might have in mind about, college?
Well, what are like some things to look out for? Like, I don't know, not like bad things, but just like, it's your first time being in a new environment. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. I feel like we don't actually always talk about, um, but that's huge. Like you, you unintentionally put yourself in situations you've never been in. It just happens. You go somewhere, you want to have a good time, and then you're like, where am I? Like I'm ready to go. Where am I? I don't know where I am. So definitely that shared location. It needs to be with somebody you trust. I would definitely put that out there. Um, when you know after you've gotten home safe and you didn't like what happened before with whoever you were with doing whatever you was doing, when you know that's not your scene, don't do that again.
Trust your gut.
It's okay. It happened. You were there. You got home safe. Thank God. Everything. I'm okay. They're okay. Don't do that again. That's not me. I'm not gonna do that again. When things do happen, you get home safe and you had a good time, just remember that the people you were with, so like if you felt safe with those are the people you want to hang out with. If that makes sense. Like when you feel safe in a safe environment and those people are the kind of people you've been hanging out with, you guys went out together, you guys are having a good time. You get home, they get home. Hey, did you get back to your dorm safely? I'm gonna walk with you over there. Those are the people you want to hang out with, who care about your safety, about your well-being. Hey, girl, did you make it back to the dorm? Yeah, I'm good. You good? Yeah. Those are the signs. Those are the green flags. Like, okay, they made sure I'm okay. I made sure they're okay. We're okay. We have fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah. I think she said it good. And Mariah mentioned earlier, like not being afraid to halt friendships because of something that happened or just recognizing like I didn't really like how someone handled a situation. Maybe we don't have to do that with that person no more. So yeah, I think trusting your gut, call your parents, tell them what happened, see what they say. I mean, it's taken me to be older to more so appreciate my parents and like the advice that they had given me and their point of view and stuff like that. So call them, call home, let them know what's going on. Yeah.
So, what's the best non-traditional piece of advice given about being in college, just adulthood?
Say that one more time.
So, just what's the best non-traditional piece of advice you were given about being in college or adult?
Non-traditional piece of advice. When they giving out free stuff, go get that free stuff. Like even Moriah said I would pick up something for her.
I was so happy.
Man, I got this cute. It's a mug, and y'all probably don't care about mugs, but I drink tea, so it's a cute mug they was giving out. It says A&T on it. It's like, it's beautiful. I get compliments on it whenever people from A&T see it. But free stuff, go get that free stuff. Yeah.
I think I said go to the function. Like I missed out on so many different things because I was tired or I just didn't want to go. And it took my friend, Kayla, it took my friend to be like, we're going. Like for me to have a good time, go to the function on campus, go to that party, go to that football game, go to the basketball game. Just like expand your horizon. You never know what you're interested in unless you try it. I think that's one of the like when you think something's gonna be lame or you're like, I don't think that's gonna be fun. You go and you meet people, you have a good time, and you didn't even realize you had a good time. Like you weren't even gonna go. So, sometimes you take that second thought and you don't want to go because you're tired or you're like, that's not really my scene. You should go and just see if you like it or don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's my advice.
Okay. And I know I have one more, but Stevie, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm good. I think you can go.
Okay. So last one from make new friends after college when you don't have that when you're not in close contact with them anymore.
Did she say how do you make
How do you maintain friendships after college?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because I know in college, you're in classes with people, so naturally you're gonna have to talk to each other.
Yeah.
But outside of college, there's work. I mean, how else could you make those friendships?
Is it about making new friendships or maintaining the college friendships?
Both actually. Make new friends from college.
Okay.
Well, the best part, Kayla can agree, the best part about being done with college is the money. Okay. When you get some money, your friends can travel more. You guys don't have to go down the street to the party and then eat McDonald's after the party. You can go to Houston, get on the horses, go to the rodeo. So, I mean, your friends just have to want to be willing to do those things with you because you have a job, they have a job. We still have let's meet up somewhere. You come visit me. So I think, you getting those extra funds and being able to travel more is a big deal. And then your friends being willing to keep that relationship you had in college. That's mine.
Yeah. I think it is a lot more intention that has to be had in order to maintain relationships. Um, and even like in the age of social media, it's easy to just communicate with people by commenting on their story, by swiping up on their story. But a good old fashioned call, a good old fashioned phone call, it doesn't go out of style, not at all. Even as I've graduated, I've leaned a little bit more into calling people because I want to hear how your job is. I just don't want to read it in a text message or, I want to hear about how it is in your new city. So I think calling people is a big thing, especially people who you were, you see them on a daily basis in college. It was a two-parter. One was
How do you
maintaining
make
make
new
new
friends?
friends. Mariah said, "Go out to the function, go be,
That
go
doesn't
do, go
stop.
see."
It's
Yeah,
harder when you get older, but it doesn't stop. That's the only unless you make those work friends, which can still be, there's a good side of that. There's a pro and a con in that, but going out with your college friend to meet new friends or, by yourself in your new city, doing whatever, going to that coffee shop, going to something they're having in the city, just to get out the house. Like that's where you meet people. You have to go out.
yeah,
Or joining book clubs, like joining programs, same thing, different age, really.
I believe that is all, right? So,
Yeah, thank you, ladies, so much. We appreciate
Thank
the
you so
time.
much.
of course, thank you for talking.
Thank you.
We want to say thank you to everybody that is on. Oh, here comes Madam President. Um, yeah, we just really appreciate everyone for tuning in, for your wonderful comments. We did see them. Thank you for indulging in such a intentional conversation. Um, yeah.
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely. I want to, before Madam President closes us out, thank you so, so very much to my field. I'm so proud of you all. You asked some excellent questions. We got some excellent answers. I see everybody in the chat reminiscing about their college days. Okay, so we were all just very excited to hear what you all had to offer. So we appreciate you and thank you, Sorors, for your time and your commitment to sharing your knowledge. It is very, very much appreciated. More of these to come, but thank you again so very much. And I appreciate you and your time. Madam President?
Awesome job, ladies. This was a great discussion. Hopefully this will be impactful for parents and students who are able to watch this back because it's here on social media. So if you enjoyed this event, please like it. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, be it on Facebook or YouTube, so that you don't miss any other forthcoming Zeta Mu events. Again, awesome job, ladies. And Aggies do. So I was just super, super proud to hear you all relay your experiences. And to the sorors who are in the chat, we thank y'all for rocking out with us, family, friends, Phil, and sorors, and MOI who are able to watch with us. Please be sure to share it on your social media pages so that high school students can watch it back. And congrats to our Phil who were able to join us tonight. These are beautiful young ladies. They are going to be successful because we ain't playing with them. Stevie already knows I'm on her. Okay, so next is Elizabeth. Next year I'm gonna be calling Elizabeth like, okay, let's get these scholarships. So awesome job, ladies. And again, thank you all so much. And please be sure to come back for our next event. And if you're paying attention on our social media page, we do have a raffle for National Convention coming up. So please be sure to get your raffle ticket for your chance to win 3 opportunities surrounded around the National Convention. So $20 here versus $550 later. So be sure to check our page out and have a wonderful evening.